Mike Alcoholic. I got a little humbled yesterday. I was left my house on the bike, and it wasn't totally sunny, but any bike riders in here will know, you see a couple of clouds, and it doesn't look like it's going to rain, so I'm going to commit, because you don't knowingly go out in the rain. It's just dumb. So I'm heading out. I'm on 280, and I see it's coming. It's like a wall. I see it. There's no way to stop. I'm going about 60, and there's no way I'm going to avoid it. This little voice said, "Hey, Mike, slow down." I have no idea why I didn't. I guess I thought, it's just a little water. Anyway, I'm coming up on this curve, and if you know that curve right before you swing up into the cut in the mountain down there in Homewood, and I felt my tires move like just about 1 inch. They went, zip, and it caught, and then another one barely moved, just enough to move, just enough to realize, just to say, "Hey, Mike, you're not really in control here." Not really. Okay? And then all of a sudden, my disdain and disappointment and kicking myself for getting out and getting caught in the rain, I was never so happy to be wet. I slowed down and hunkered down on the handlebars and was going about 20 going, I am so glad to be wet. Because I was almost something else. And the reason I'm talking about it is because, if I will listen, God gives me a lot of the answers, but sometimes my selfishness, I push right past them. Before I got here, I had broke in this guy's house. I knew he wasn't home, and it wasn't a full-blown, but I jimmied the door and went in there, and I took $20 out of his desk. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it was a lot more in '84, but there was a little voice before I did that said, "Mike, this is not a good idea." Just like Jim in his story, he said, "I thought I was being none too smart putting that whiskey in milk," and then he went on to justify to himself how it was cool. He had a sandwich, he had a full stomach, it would be okay. And it's hard with some things that happened because I saw the sign and I heard the voice and I discounted it and I pushed forward. And this program has taught me, try to not just hear the red flags or the warning signs, to try to heed them. Because I can hear all kinds of things. It can go in one ear and out the other. But if I heed it, I hear it and I act on it. And, I lucked out yesterday. I should have acted on it. But the key there is the voice was there. And I think it's always been there. And especially, and this isn't necessarily a God meeting, but, I've been in like 5 humility meetings in the last week, because I go to a meeting a day, and you can look forward to 2 more weeks of it, because it's the 7th month and the 7th step has humbly in it. So don't be surprised if you hear it again. It's not by accident, it's by design. So, it's like in the book where it talks about deep down within every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. And it can be obscured by my selfishness and my worship of other things, where I need to be on time, what they're going to think, all the things that I can think of. But it was there. And the way I try to look at it, especially explain it to newcomers, is that little voice was always there, even before I broke in that house. Now, there was another voice that was louder that I listened to more. And if there's anything that I could encapsulate this concept, especially just some new people, and so I can hear myself say it, is that I need to give this voice that's always been there a chance. Now, if you're one of them people that used to bury cats up to their head and run over them with a lawnmower, you don't have the voice, okay? You do not have that voice. You know what I'm talking about. That's your Jeffrey Dahmers. They never had it and never will. I'm talking about regular folks like you and me that had that little voice that said, "Man, this ain't too smart." And I said, "Screw you, I'm going to do what I want." That's the ones I'm referring to. But slowing down, like he said, I don't claim to have that length of time, but, I have realized the value, especially after being through some challenges in life. I'll tell you this story. I don't think I've shared it in a meeting. And this was more than 15 years ago. That wasn't recent, so you don't know the person, but it was after a relationship. And I had asked her to leave, and there goes this period of time where it's all their fault. And then after a little time, you say, well, maybe there was something I did. I'm going to own a little bit of it. And I told a guy that knew me for most of his life, he's dead now, he could not or would not find this way of life. And he put me in my place better than anybody ever has, and it's very encapsulates this concept that I'm talking about. And I said, hey, buddy, maybe there was one red flag. And he goes, bitch, you was like a downhill skier going past some red flag. Shh, 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 shh. And I was like, I hate you. I hate you, buddy. Man, you got me. You got me, buddy, because I did. I skied right past him because what she looks like. I skied right past him because what they're going to think. I skied right past him. What's my payoff? But I had the warnings, so I got nobody to blame but myself. And that goes for my alcoholism, too. I had plenty of warnings. I did. I really did. I'll own it. 100%. I'm here because of nobody's fault but my own. Because God tried to holler at me. You know the old thing, the guy's on the house, it's flooded. He sent me a dinghy. He sent me a helicopter. And I'm like, oh no, I'm waiting on something else, buddy. Everybody knows the story. It's all the same story. Listen to what God's trying to tell you, Mike. Because you're going to be better off on two wheels wet than laying in a ditch because you did what you thought you wanted to do. I've had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, and I'll pass.
Thanks, Mike. Glad you